Hello everybody, welcome to another Saturday Anything Goes. I hope you guys have had a pleasant start to your weekend. I have a friend who just had a birthday yesterday, and so I had a bunch of little gifts for her, and it was kind of cumbersome to try and carry them all in my hands, and I didn't have a gift bag, so that brought about me searching through YouTube, and I found this wonderful project by Tasha's Craft Corner. She did a really good job of explaining it, and so I made a couple of them, and now I can't quit making them. But I wanted to share it with you because it works really well when you want to give a bunch of little somethings to someone. And so this is the bag I made for her. Let me turn it over so you can see it. And it's the cutest little gift caddy. It's got all of these pockets all the way around, and then it's got areas inside that are pretty roomy. And so it works really well. Now I just have to pick this up when I'm going to see her and to give it to her. Plus, the other nice thing is, after she's done with the gifts, she can then use it for other things. You could put sewing notions in it, store stationery supplies in it. The list goes on and on. So this was the first one that I made, and I just really love it. And then I decided to make one in one of our new in colors, which is Magenta Madness, and some of our paper, what's it called? Flowers for Every Season. Just goes really well with this. And this one I kind of made as a twist. It's got all these little pillow boxes in it. And this is my little virus survival kit. So I have a cloth mask in here that is washable. I've got hand sanitizer in here and in here. I've got pocket tissues and Tic Tacs, because I don't know about you, but after wearing a mask for more than an hour, my mouth gets so dry. So anyway, just kind of a cute little package that I can hand out to someone to help them be safe from the virus. All right, so let me put these two out of the way down here. And let me show you what we're going to be using. I don't normally work very well in warm colors like browns and things like that. I tend to go more for pastels or brights, but I really like our Cinnamon Cider paper, so that's what we're going to be using tonight. And another of the patterns from the Flowers for Every Season, and this is sunflowers. And so we're going to have some fun doing that. I've already cut things ahead of time. Some stuff, like there are multiple, there's like 6 pockets, so I've already made 4 of them, and I'll show you how to make the other 2. So hopefully this won't take up too much time. But it's really pretty simple. The first thing we're going to do is we need our base, which is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and then the little inside part. And let me bring this up so that you can see there is an inside part here. I have it attached at glued down at the bottom, but so we'll need to make that as well. And this is from a sheet of paper that is 10 by 9.5 inches. Okay, I'm going to bring in my scoring board because I just find it, for big things like this, easier to go to it. And let me just tell you what we're going to score here, trying to make sure that it's where you guys can see it. So, and there's a little bit of a lag, so let me just bring it down. So on our 12 by 12, it doesn't matter which side you start with. The scoring for this is going to be at 3/8, and that's the hardest one for me because it's pretty close to the edge. And then 3.5, 8.5, and 11 5/8. Whoops, come here, you. Don't skip on me. Thank you. Ah. You know what? I'm going to turn it around this way and go from the 3/8 on this side. Because that's basically what it is. It's just 3/8 on the other side. Okay, so that's the scoring for that. Then we're going to rotate it. Just flip it a quarter turn. And on this side, we're going to score at 3 inches. And again at 9 inches. All right, now I'm going to bring in the smaller of the two pieces, which is the 10 by 9.5. And on the long edge, we're going to go ahead and score this at 2 and at 8. And then on the short edge, which is the 9.5, we're going to score at 3 3/4. And again at 5 3/4. All right. So that's all the scoring we're going to do at the moment. We'll have some more scoring for the pockets. But let's go ahead and fold and burnish these. And I'll show you the cuts to make. It's really pretty simple to make both the base and the inside part. Make sure you fold and burnish those 3/8. And you'll see what they're for in a moment. So we just had a very, very quiet day. Didn't do much of anything. Even got in a little nap this afternoon. Naps are good. All right, now for our cuts, you want the 3/8 at the top and the bottom, because this is where we're going to make our cuts. We're going to cut from, make sure you can see this, from down here all the way up to, this is the second score line. And this is what's going to make our flaps. And then I'm also going to cut off this little 3/8 inch part, because we won't need that on our flaps. All right, so we'll do that on both sides. And then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Pretty easy. So has anybody seen any good movies lately? I swear I've watched everything on Netflix, on Roku, on Hoodoo, Vudu. So I need something else to watch. All right. So now these are going to be our flaps. So they'll come in like this. And then this is going to fold up. And that little 3/8 at the top is going to fold over. It gives you a very nice finished edge. So you can use liquid glue. You could use tear and tape. You can use whatever you like. I'm just going to pull out. Still have some fast fuse, so I'm going to use it up. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to do the little 3/8 inch part so I can fold it over. So you just marry up the edges. If I've cut straight, they should all be even. All right, and then I'm going to fold that part over and just make sure to give it a good press all the way around with the bone folder. Now let's go ahead and do the same here. So I'll have to turn these out. I should have probably done those before I did up the top ones, but that's okay. I'll make it work. I'm just putting tape on those flaps. Ooh, and getting it everywhere, evidently. And then also remember that 3/8 inch flap. You'll want to put some tape on that. And just marry them up, fold it over. And bingo Bob's your uncle, you've got the base done. Hooray! Now we're going to do pretty much the same for this piece, but our cuts are going to be on a different part because this ends up being more of a bit more of a rectangle than the other one. It stands up a little bit higher. All right, so I've gone ahead, and what I'm going to do here is where we have these small middle areas, those are going to become our flaps. So you'll just cut to release them. And then I'm going to show you how to get a really smooth interior, because as you can see, these flaps are much shorter than the other ones. So instead of doing this and being able to see that flap inside, I'm going to turn these in first, and the flap is going to go on the outside, and then it'll be covered by that piece. So I really like that. Okay, so I'm going to put tape here and on the other side as well. Come on. I think I'm just about out of my fast fuse here. And then decide which one of these that you're going to have be the outside, and you'll want to put tape or glue on these as well. So these will be folded over last. All right, so the ones with no tape, I'm going to stand those up, and then the small flap, I'm going to marry up to the edge, nice and neat on both sides. Just like that. And I have a little bit of excess right here. I didn't cut my score line well enough, so I'm just going to trim that off before I go any further. That side looks good. Okay, and now, oh, Linda, you did that wrong. Hang on, guys. Let me see if I can, sometimes I can get this undone. If you breathe on it, your hot breath should release it, because I put the wrong flaps down first. Okay. Same with this one. And that one's coming away a little bit easier. I knew I was full of hot air for a reason. Okay. So what you want to do is, Lego Mago. Boy, I'm sticking it to everything, aren't I? Okay, so what you're going to do, this one's going to come up first, and we'll go ahead and put our short flaps like that, okay? And now I am going to tape these because I took the tape off the other part. Maybe. Come on, you. Crikey. I haven't purchased the new Stampin' Up! Adhesive rollers yet. I was waiting for my next order to do that, but hopefully they're better than the Fast Fuse. Okay, now I can bring these edges around, and we'll have a nice finished inside. So there are no, and I'm not going to worry about this because I'm covering it up with paper, there are no actual flaps inside to hamper, whereas if I put those small flaps in there, stuff could catch on them. Okay, and this is going to sit right in here like this. But I'm not going to adhere it yet because now we need to talk about the pockets for the outside. I'm not going to put any DSP on these edges yet because the DSP will actually go on our pockets. So let me bring in, I saved 2 of the pockets so we could do them together. And I've cut out all the DSP. And I will give you the measurements for your pockets. So you're going to need, we're going to have 4 pockets, 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then 1 larger one here and 1 larger one here. So you will need 4 pieces that are 5 inches by 4 inches, which this one is. 2 pieces that are 6.5 by 4 inches, which this one is. And let me bring back in my scoreboard because we do need to make a few score marks. And one of the things I really liked about these pockets is they're gusseted. And let me show you how easy it is to make your score marks so that you can get those gussets. Now, these score marks would be the same for all 6 pieces, all 6 pockets. Your first one is going to be at 1/2 inch. Then you're going to do it at 3/4 inch and at 1 inch. And I'm going to rotate it around, flip it completely so I'm on the opposite side. And again, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. And then I need one more score mark. So I've got score marks on both of these sides. I'm going to turn it quarter turn, doesn't matter which side, and I'm going to score it at 1. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the pocket that is the large one, the 6.5 by 4 inch. So again, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. Turn it to the opposite side and repeat those measurements. 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. And then rotate it quarter turn. Again, it doesn't matter if you do it this side or this side. Just make a score mark at 1 inch. Okay, now I can put that away for good. So, at this stage, if you want to put your DSP on, you certainly can. I usually wait until I've made all my folds and everything. That way I can kind of hold it up to the finished thing and see if I need to trim any, because I have had instances where my DSP was just 1/8 inch too big. So let's talk about this. I'm going to first fold on the 1 inch line. That's easy. Now we've got this 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. We need to do an accordion fold on this. But rather than start with the first one, I find it easier to start with the 3/4 inch mark one, because that one you need to fold towards you. So I'm just going to put my fingernails, it's the middle score, and I'm going to do this and press it down. Now, I've got this score mark here is going to be folded back. And then we have one more score mark right here, which is also going to be folded back. Just like that. And what you'll end up with is, so you've got a mountain, valley, mountain. And the reason we did this one at 1/2 inch rather than 1/4 inch, this is what's going to attach to our box. So I have a wider surface. All right, so that's one. I'll do the same here. That middle score line, fold forward, and then accordion that one, as well as the very first score line. Now, if you're more comfortable just doing your accordion starting at the beginning with the first fold going down, there's nothing that says you can't do it. All right, so that's what we have. Now we need to do a little bit of cutting. I don't need what's right here. Those will just get in my way, so we can cut off those two rectangle pieces, the short ones. Same thing on this side. Just going to cut those away. Try to stay right on your score line, because then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our accordion fold going on both sides, and then I'm going to put a line of tape here, and again you can use liquid glue if you like, or even tear-in tape is fine. You do want a strong adhesive though, so I wouldn't use like snail if you have any of that. Alright, and then what I'll do is fold up. I'm holding down the very bottoms there and fold that up and over, and that makes our pocket, our gusseted pocket. Okay, so that's my larger one. Now I'm going to do the same thing to my short pocket. So all the pockets are folded exactly the same way. And it goes pretty fast. The first one, I did them all backwards, but you'll only do that once. You'll remember after that. All right, and remember, we're going to cut away these 4 right here. 2 on this side, and 2 on this side. So we just want the long flap to remain on the bottom. And then let me fold my stuff together again. Run a line of tape or a bead of glue if that's what you're using. Just like that. Make sure I've got everything folded in. So my edges should be flush. And fold those over. All right, and there's our smaller pocket. Now, let me bring in our base, not the centerpiece. We'll work with that in a minute. But our base, because this is where our pockets are going to live. So I've already done the other short pockets. And we still have that sticky tape on these sides, but we need to put tape or glue on this wide bottom flap. And then what you're going to do is just line it up flush with the edge, this edge here and this edge here, and then just press it down. Just like that. And then you'll do the same with the second pocket for this side. Come on, don't fade on me now. And this one will butt right up. Oh, and look, I even have a piece of DSP on that one already. So it'll butt right up against that first pocket that you put on, and just make sure that the bottom is flush and it will meet the side. And then stick it down. All right, just like that. Now I've got DSP on my other 4 pockets, so let me bring out the DSP that I've used for the short pockets are 2 7/8 square. 2 7/8 square. If you have a directional pattern, it really won't matter that way because it's the same measurement for the 4 small pockets. But for the larger pocket, you definitely do want to be careful of your pattern. So I can just glue this down. I will use liquid glue for this. And just slide that boy on there. Just like that. And that's what our front looks like. Okay. Now I also have one of my long pockets done. And here, you're not going to marry it up at the very edge. Here, you want to get equal amount of space from each corner as best you can and line it up at the bottom, just like that. Oops, come back here, you. All right, pretty. Like I said, I'm not really a brown person, but that cinnamon cider really looks nice. All right, so let me do the 2 short pockets for the other side. So I got that one and this one. Just like that. Okay, so I've got one more pocket to do, and I'll put the DSP on this one so that I can give you the measurement. And remember, this one doesn't go flush up against the edges, the sides, just the bottom. All right, so the piece of DSP that I need for the long pockets are 4 3/8 this way by 2 3/4 high. So 4 3/8 width, 2 3/4 high. All right. Let me see who we've got on with us tonight. Computer's doing funny things here, but there we go. I've been nattering on so much about this, I haven't said hello to you all yet. And it always makes me so happy when you join me. Hi, Linda. Thanks for sharing. Hi, Kathy. Yeah, that 12 by 12 paper, I usually get the 40 packs, but this time I just decided in the beginning to start with the 12 by 12. Hi, Kathleen. Hello, Belinda. Hi, Danette. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Harry Potter. Oh my gosh, you know, it's been a while since I watched any of the Harry Potter movies, so that'd be a great idea. Thanks, Kathy. All right, so we're done with this. Let's work on our insert. Now, this is really simple. All we're going to do is put on DSP on all 4 sides. So our long sides are going to be 5 7/8 by 3 5/8. You'll need 2 of those. And then on our short side, we will need 2 inches by 3 5/8. And I have those already cut. So we'll just use liquid glue to put these on. And it leaves you just a little bitty border around. Now, what you could do is, if you didn't want to do it in the same pattern, find a coordinating pattern. Like this won't work because it's the wrong color. But if it was, say, the cinnamon cider or even just jade, then your insert would be, let me pull it up so you can see it, your insert would be kind of contrasting rather than matching. So that's kind of fun too. But since I already cut our sunflowers, we're going to stick with that. All right. And like I said, we'll have just a thin border all the way around. So I'll do this side next. Trying to make sure I keep in frame for you guys. These bigger projects, I sometimes am not always careful about keeping things in frame. So I'm trying to do better. Oh, come on, look at what just happened. Well, I'll fix that later. Okay, and then we have our side ones. So we'll stick those on, and again, it's just going to leave a very small border all the way around. Okay, and then our last one. Goes right there. All right. Now, like I said, you don't have to glue this down, but we're going to put a handle on it, and I've been attaching my handle to the inside box. So if I do that, if I don't glue it down and I pick it up by the handle, boop, that's going to come right off. So what we need to do is glue this down. Hang on, I got to cut this piece that's bothering me. Okay. I'm going to use liquid glue just because it gives me the time I need to squiggle it around. So I'm just going to find about my halfway mark. So pardon my head if it gets in the way. Line it up and then squish it down. Just like that. So we've got, that's pretty good for being the halfway mark. All right, all we have left to do is our handle. Now if you were working with 12 by 12 paper, that second piece that we cut that was only 10 by 9.5 will leave you a really nice 2-inch by 12-inch piece that works oh so nice for the handle. And because I wanted the handle reinforced, what I did was I made a score mark at 1/2 inch on both sides. That way I can fold this over and I get a reinforced handle. So let me just run some tape here to close this up. And I always do one side at a time. Don't ask me why. Just like that. And then I simply cut 2 pieces of the DSP that are, since this is 1 inch, these should be 3/4 of an inch by 6 inches. 6 inches because your Flowers for Every Season is a 6 by 6 paper pack. But that allows me to then go ahead and have the pattern going up and down so that when you look at it, right, it's going the right way. Whereas if you had one continuous piece, half of it would be upside down. I'm going to glue this with liquid glue. Oops, almost put it upside down. And I'm just going to lay it down so that I have an equal border on either side. And then do the same here. And because both of these strips are 6 inches long, it will butt up nicely at the join. So you don't really see it as 2 different pieces. And then I'm just going to cut off that little bit, and we'll be ready to put our handle on. But before we do, unless you want to end up like that, what I'm going to do is take my bone folder and just run it to get a curve started, because we wanted a much gentler curve than what you would get if you just tried to stick it down. So see, that is way, way better for a curve. And then I'm just going to put tape. You could use glue on either end, on the inside. And if you think your handle's going to get quite a bit of wear, just load up on the tape. And then I'll bring this in, and what I'm going to do is take this and find the center mark, and I'm only going to put it just a little bit past where you see this. That way it kind of hides the join. And then we'll turn it over on this side and do exactly the same. So I don't want to attach it up here because it would look disjointed. That's why I'm bringing it down here so that it's hidden a little bit by the pocket outside. Make sure you squish those down. And there we have it. Cute, cute, cute. Now you can go ahead and put a sentiment on it. You can put embellishments on it. Just go to town with how you decorate it. But, like I said, it's just really easy to put a few things in here. You could even use it as a tool caddy if you wanted to, for some of your projects. You really can store lots of things in it. All right, so what do you guys think? It really is simple, simple, simple. So I hope that you guys will give it a try. As you see, it's not really complicated. You just have a lot of pieces and parts, but if you just take it one at a time, it really comes together pretty easily. And you know, if you're kind of working on a time crunch where you don't have time to do the whole thing, I mean, we've done this in about 30 minutes, but that was because I had pre-cut a bunch of stuff. So you could do the same thing. Pre-cut your parts and maybe assemble your pockets and leave the DSP and the handle to go on last. So you could make, I don't know, 3 or 4 of those. You could make like a birthday themed one. Just all sorts of things. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have for you tonight. I hope that you found the project not too daunting and that you'll give it a try. If you do make one, please shoot me a photo. I would love to see it. Otherwise, I will close this out for tonight and let you get back to your regularly scheduled Saturday evening. And I will see you all here Saturday night, next Saturday night, same time, same place. And remember, wash your hands, wear your mask, be safe. Good night, y'all.